The Western Athletic Conference on the air and opening their season on the American Sports Network. One of the finest in the land and dominating their conference, the New Mexico State Aggies. Year after year, they head to the NCAA tournament. Utah Valley Wolverines and their rookie head coach, Mark Pope, trying to bring energy and passion into this building. Hi there, folks, and welcome back on campus. Certainly glad to wish you a happy opening night, conference opening night. This is an exciting time. Rich Zavosek joins us, and Coach, when you look at this team, you have to start with New Mexico State and Pascal Siakam, who he is as a player. Double-double machine, certainly. He's a young man that pro scouts are looking at now out of the mid-major level, out of the WAC. So I ask you as a coach, all those great numbers, how do you stop him?
You throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. And what you're going to see tonight is a Utah Valley team that will show him many different looks. They'll go triangle and two, they'll go man-to-man, they'll double with bigs, they'll double with smalls. The key is, can Utah Valley push the pace and keep him thinking instead of just playing?
Funny, Coach Mark Pope makes it clear, we're going to really do things backwards. We're going to kind of have no pride in our defense because I'm rebuilding my team. As they introduce the home team, Utah Valley University, rookie head coach Mark Pope against veteran head coach Mark Menzies. When you look at Utah Valley and a challenge like this with the perennial dominator of this conference, this is a great learning experience. This is a great learning season for Utah Valley and head coach Mark Pope.
It certainly is. And there's a question that each new coach has. Is he going to build for a good season or build a program? And what Mark Pope is doing is he is building the program. Hurt by the injury bug, he lost 2 potential starters before the season starts, but he also has 3 transfers sitting out. A very good recruit coming in from Arizona, one of the top forwards in the West. So he is building a program to take Utah Valley into the same level that New Mexico State has been in the WAC.
Well, that's a tall, tall tally. Marvin Menzies has done fabulous work in his 9th year with New Mexico State. And you have a program like Grand Canyon who is doing it with Dan Marley fast forward. They're catching everyone in this conference, moving past everyone. So for a team like UVU, it would be a very, very tall challenge, but a challenge nonetheless for a team like New Mexico State. So 8-7, and Coach Menzies will tell us, just like Coach Pope will, and you see the head coach, Mark Pope of Utah Valley University. Coach Menzies will tell us of New Mexico State that we haven't done what we're supposed to do yet, but his team is very young.
Well, they have a very high ceiling. They have no significant seniors that are playing. So you're talking about a team whose best player is a sophomore. Ian Baker, who we highlighted earlier, is only a junior. So you're looking at that core that's going to be around for 2, perhaps 3 more years.
Let's take a look at these starting lineups. Ian Baker, the big scorer, along with Pascal Siakam. Who else will score? That's the big question. You have some sophomores with responsibility. You have Taylor, you have Wilkins, Penny, all of them can score. We will see what in fact occurs. Now, Marcel Davis is a senior, and according to Mark Pope, he's the one guy that gets what I'm trying to do. So obviously Marcel is very, very important. He doles out 4 assists per game. There is scoring on down the way, and a great scorer he certainly is Connor Fry. Fry, a walk-on to this program. And let's play some WAC basketball. We're certainly glad you are with us on campus at Utah Valley University, the Utah Community Credit Union Center.
Darren, we're going to count the number of different defenses they play in the first half. They start in man, and Siakam in single coverage. You got to get help.
Siakam with the pair. He averages 23.5 points per game, 12 rebounds. He even gives out a couple of assists because he's doubled and triple teamed all the time. We talked about Davis. Number 0 handles the offense. Jackson gives it up underneath. Swing to the corner. And the triple is off the mark. Connor Fry, the junior, out of Utah. Out of bountiful Utah. New Mexico State 8-7. Utah Valley 6-9. The Wolverines against the Lobos. Skip pass turned over. Jaden Jackson has it in his hands. Stop, pop, and far short there. Not quite sure where he was. The senior out of Salt Lake City.
On that last possession, Darren, you saw 3 white jerseys stalking Siakam, but it's Baker who's able to get to the rack, and he's going to be a key if this team is going to repeat as the WAC champion.
Ian Baker, the secondary option, but a secondary option at 16 points a game.
Pretty good secondary option.
Fry's a fun one. Pretty darn fearless, as you can see. Swings it to the outside. That one bangs home Marcel Davis. He averages 13. That's a triple.
We've seen 3 pretty good possessions for Utah Valley thus far. The ball has moved. They haven't been able to capitalize except that possession.
That three-pointer off the mark, Matt Taylor. Fry up front. Thought about dunking it, thought about hammering it home, thought otherwise. He'll take a pair. Home squad up by a point, 5-4. More than 2 minutes have disappeared.
You can see right now they're in a triangle and 2s. Little accidental contact and turnover.
What does that mean defensively? If you say triangle and 2, you see the offensive side here for Utah Valley.
Well, that's Mark Pope basketball. Push the ball in transition. Connor Fry running. You got to find him, and he finishes. Triangle and 2 means
for Siakam,
you're going to guard 2 people man to man, as we see a second 3 by Marcel Davis, the senior.
Davis has 6. Wide open, and that's what happens when you work so hard on the inside. The mix by Braxton Huggins. Action on the court already very aggressive, and a kind roll. Jaden Jackson, that one set up though by Ivory Young, who pushed the basketball. Boy, they are aggressive. Very, very aggressive when you speak about Utah Valley. Fry with the rebound.
Here's what New Mexico State can't fall into this trap. Utah Valley is going to shoot it quick on the offensive end. If you're New Mexico State, as we see a legal screen, which is a directive this year for officials, you cannot move. Easy call for the officials. But going back to that trap that you fall into, because Utah Valley is going to shoot it fast, New Mexico State comes back on the on the offensive end, and they will get some open looks. But if it's not the right guy, you have to turn it down, move the basketball, and make sure that Siakam touches it before you take a shot.
Very good start for the home squad. Again, both these teams youngish with regard to expectations. Certainly Utah Valley with more seniors. There will be mistakes that go on, and you won't see many misses like that. That's a young man. Rebound by the big fella, 7-3, follows it, just sticks with it. Tanvir Bular, a sophomore out of Toronto. His brother had some time in the NBA.
Sim was a good player at New Mexico State. Tanvir is going to be an excellent player here as he develops in the next couple of years.
7'3" tall, 4 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. And a game changer right there. You take it into the paint, you think otherwise. Little teardrop comes up short. Ivory Young's not afraid to penetrate, is he? Speaking of penetration, high off the glass, beautiful shot, Ian Baker.
If you're going to take a quick shot, if you're New Mexico State, it must be going to the goal. Don't settle for a jump shot.
Ryan lowers his shoulder. That's a pair of fouls. That's a story already.
It certainly is. Let's take a look at the big fella on the previous possession on the offensive end. Scopes out his position on the weak side of the rim and then takes his time to finish. Gathers himself. Nice step through.
Utah Valley 4 of 7 from the floor to start things, shooting 57%.
That's good.
Native of Cameroon, Pascal Siakam. In his career, shooting close to 60%, 57% career shooter. Now he stands 6'9", but that wingspan makes him feel like a 7-footer, but an athletic one.
That's why he's tough to double team, because he can catch the ball on the perimeter, and he's really developed a solid mid-range game.
Backs in, pro scouts are watching all the time. What do you do to stop that?
You got to bring help. You cannot play him one-on-one.
The numbers are daunting. 3 games with 30 or more points, 13 games with 20 or more points in his college career. Meantime, Marcel Davis has been an answer, the senior that's been so important as a leader.
I love how hard that Utah Valley cuts without the basketball. Really shifts the defense.
They have that presence, and Hular in the middle slicing through for a bucket there. Nadir, he has seen more playing time of late. Sidi Nadir, the redshirt freshman, and the native of France. Very diverse team with regard to globally when you talk about New Mexico State. Stop, pop just inside of the free throw line. Siakam with the rebound.
That's one of the things that Marvin Menzies talked about with us before the game. He has developed relationships all around the world, and he has exploited those relationships to bring in players from France and Mexico and Africa, and has really developed an outstanding program.
Folks, he had a great line. He was talking about heading to Africa. He said a lot of coaches wouldn't take the time to go to Africa. He said, I have a suite in Africa. Siakam with a second chance. He'll go to the line. What a beast.
Darren, let's take a look at this last possession. He goes inside out, and the defensive man turns his head, and Bular recognizes it and able to hit Nadir and get an easy one at the rim.
Now Taylor checks back in. Sean Brown comes in, the freshman out of Toronto for New Mexico State. Hayden Shank is in out of Eden, Utah. By the way, Siakam at the line looking to complete the three-point play. He's got 6 points. 72% free throw shooter. Well off the mark to the right that time. No surprise, that's the 103rd time he's been to the line this year. And anybody out there on the floor, lead pass, a little bit aggressive. Boy, Davis is fun to watch. That one turned over. A little bit too fun there.
That's one of those that you think you're being unselfish by trying to throw it to the post guy, and Bular was heading to the offensive glass, Bastion wasn't expecting the pass.
When you talk about the veteran coach and Marvin Menzies and what he's been able to do, Mark Pope really a treat too. You want to almost lace up and go to work when you speak basketball with him. A soft speaker, the head coach at Utah Valley University. 10 on the shot clock. This is his first gig, meaning head coaching gig. Longtime assistant, BYU assistant. Played in the NBA. Hular underneath, turns it into a bucket. And an easy one for that matter, just beat the shot clock.
That's the patience of New Mexico State. They aren't afraid to run the shot clock down to the end. They don't panic.
Beautiful pass opportunity, not taken advantage of by Bastion. The Tustin, California native missed it. 16-12, New Mexico State leading.
Once again, we saw Utah Valley do the same thing that Taylor did in that transition. His post guys getting ready to post up. Just get the ball on the rim. That way, if you miss it, your post man is right there for the offensive rebound.
This Utah Valley program never has headed to the NCAA tournament. Not yet, anyway. They're a newer program. I mean, this is becoming a 4-year school not too long ago in their first season, 03-04. As a look at head coach Mark Pope, what's your takeaway with all of your experience in a suit and tie on the sideline?
Well, the interesting thing with Mark Pope is he's taking over a program that Dick Hunsaker did an excellent job of transitioning from junior college all the way up to Division I, but his was a much different style. He was successful, but it was a different style, and there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. He is more up-tempo. You're going to see them push the basketball, and as he recruits the players who fit his philosophy and his style, you will see a very exciting Utah Valley team. I mean, the guy played for Rick Pitino in Kentucky. He knows a little bit about up-tempo basketball.
It's a great list of those that have influenced his life, not only as a man and as a coach. And then when he goes home, he's the father of 4 daughters. So he's got all his sons here, and he's got 4 daughters at home.
That'll teach you a lot of life lessons as well.
You know what else? When those young men come knock at the door, you know all their secrets. Off the glass, a beautiful attempt. Any thoughts on Marcel Davis? I know we were going to talk about him briefly during the break. We'll hit on him in a moment. Boy, a really aggressive player.
Well, he's the one guy who can explode and score in buckets as we look at Mark Pope and the coaches who influenced him. And he talked a little bit about that today, that Rick Pitino obviously playing for him and George Karl were big influences on him and how he attacks the game and how he prepares for it. When you've been around Hall of Famers like that, there's going to be some great ideas that rub off.
Davis does have 9 points. You were sharing some thoughts on him as he sits down.
He's a guy who can score in bunches. Had 28 against Southern Utah. He had 20 in their previous game. He's one that they need on the floor.
Slicing to the bucket is Siakam with another pair. He's got 8 points.
And here's the problem with his 8 points. They've come too easy. They have to make him work a little bit harder.
A little bit more than 12 minutes to go here in this first half. King with a ball fake. Skips it back to the outside. Dayon Goodman, number 33 on that white jersey. A very talented young player, can have huge, impactful moments. Shot clock down to 3 and 2. Goodman keeps it alive. There's that athleticism I was talking about.
Terrific offensive rebound. High IQ on that one. He knew he couldn't grab it, so he tips it out.
Hanging tough, certainly the team that you would expect to be on top, the defending perennial WAC champions, New Mexico State. But a fight by the home team, UVU. 18-13, certainly glad you're with us. The WAC opener for both these teams. Boy, what a fabulous event for the 3rd consecutive year in American Sports Network. Glad to have you. The Dream Bowl 2015. Virginia Beach, Virginia now again 2016. It carries on, catering to both NFL and Canadian Football League teams. The event focusing on giving seniors an ideal chance from some of the smaller schools. A lot of great football. Visit dreambowl.net. 2016 Dream Bowl. January 18th on ASN. 18-13. And so far, so good for the road team, which actually has a very, very young roster, 9 of 15. We talk about Siakam all we want, he's only a sophomore. That one fired out of bounds off one of the Lobos.
Siakam is going to show you a variety of moves. He flashes to the post, and then he backs the man down. Loves the baseline turn, and then he understands, you want to get the ball, go set a screen. Screen, roll, basket.
And in the meantime, underneath, Dayon Goodman with a bucket as we take a peek back at live action. So, with regard to Goodman, we'll see him again on the offensive side. We saw that great rebounding effort a moment ago. The advanced metrics, I know you love that, Coach. The advanced metrics, they tell us that he is one of the most dangerous players on the floor when he's in there. Obviously, as a younger player, he's a high IQ, high-level athlete, but still learning. Playing defense right now.
He's one of those guys that Mark Pope can build around. He's not going to be the star, but he's going to be a very good role player.
Missed the rim, shot clock violation. Cheers from the UVU bench. Talk about the basketball experience for the Siakam family and who they are. James just finishing at Vanderbilt.
It's like with each brother, they got a little bit better. But great bloodlines, terrific players. And also, just a little side note, all three brothers graduated. So not only good players, but good students. And you can see the little extra bump on the ball stream by Bastion.
Mark Pope not too fond of that call. Well, he speaks of his young men that he coaches. And the fun thing about coaching college sports is the players have arrogance and insecurity all at the same time, and it just gets exposed. Great job defensively, stepping up, swatting it away.
Second possession again where they play a 2-3 and shut him down.
I'm going to always ask about the defense when we get back on that end because it may be different every single time. Jackson up top. Three-pointer firm off the back of the iron. Coach Pope called them junk defenses. I think he was Lou Holtzing us a little bit on that. And it's a little bit more organized than that.
Junk, but as in one man's junk is another man's treasure. So he's just trying to give them different looks to try and get New Mexico State to think about it. Kind of paralysis by analysis. And when we talked to Coach Menzies before the game, he just wanted his guys to stay aggressive. They'll run some sets that are flexible. They'll be able to play against man or zone and just be aggressive.
Up and under, an athletic play. That's beautiful, Ian Baker. And he's got 6. He's a perfect 3 of 3 from the floor. Under 10 minutes to go on this one. 5-point New Mexico State lead. Coach Zavosik and Darren Sutton, glad to have you with us.
The question is, Darren, is how long will they keep Marcel Davis on the bench as we see Ian Baker?
Question answered.
There he comes. Terrific move, and Marcel Davis coming back in the game. They need scoring. Their defense has been solid through the first 11 minutes, but they need somebody who can score.
Big body in there, and Darius Hamilton. He gives it back up. Little teardrop, a little firm, a second chance, and another chance for Hamilton, who will go to the line. It was Goodman once, it was Goodman twice. The senior out of San Antonio, Darius Hamilton closed it.
Watch the stick-to-itivity. Hamilton is going to hang around until he gets his big mitts on the ball, and now with a chance for a three-point play. And he's one of those guys that Coach Pope talked about. He came in, was recruited by the previous staff, a different player, a guy who was more suited to play in the half court, but he's adjusted and gotten better this year.
Wide open look for Braxton Huggins, a triple. Well, to finish the thoughts on Hamilton, again, he's another player that when he's out there contributes. Per 40, he's 8 rebounds, 18 points.
Well, he's had to change the style and the philosophy of how he plays. He's bought in.
Darius Hamilton just showed us how they play now. A lot of shooting, a lot of aggressiveness. Marcel Davis with that three-point attempt. Hamilton learning. Shot clock down to 10. Shot clock at 9. Davis, a much better player at home in his year and a half here. 13 points a game, shoots 50% from the floor. On the road, about 8 a game, and about 40%. Ball fake up and under off the glass. Jaden Jackson, the senior out of Salt Lake City, West Jordan High School. In December, he had a 23-point effort against Weber State. Talking about Jackson.
You see different defense again. We'll triangle and 2 on the guards.
UVU within 3. Pope Hawks off the bench. Comes down the sideline. We talked about his assistant time at Wake Forest and Georgia, BYU, of course. He learned a ton from Dave Rose. Swatted away. That's a thing of ease for Siakam. Shot clock. That one's knocked away. Siakam will send it back the other way. Utah Valley, 2 of their last 8 from the floor. Davis has 9 points in this one. He's got an assist to go along with it as well. He lowered that shoulder and went in hard, but a foul and a whistle on Jalen Penny, the sophomore. Getting a chance to watch some young, talented athletes in this one as we open up the WAC season. UVU hanging tough at home, down by 3 against New Mexico State. Every single year, it seems, they represent this conference in the dance. New Mexico State Aggies on top by 3. American Sports Network and the WAC home opener. Crowd starting to come alive here. The students on campus at UVU. A little bounce in the bottom half of your screen. Good energy in the building, and that seems to make a difference. They'll tell you anyway. A triple for Jaden Jackson.
Where do coaches earn their money? Dead ball situations. Mark Pope, well diagrammed, well executed.
Pope strikes me as a coach that absolutely sweats the small stuff. The little details that go into winning.
Oh, absolutely right. And you talk about a game within a game. Those points off of sideline out of bounds plays, baseline out of bounds plays, those are keys to get you a win as opposed to going home with a loss.
Scoring drought for New Mexico State of about 2.5 minutes. Let's see if they can end it right now. Ball fake, aggressive. Oh, nice job boxing out 2 underneath. You saw the big 7-footer Alex Carr at 6'3", shoving him out of the way. Ular thought he had a feel for a rebound, nothing doing. That was easy, and we talk about the lack of size. Bastian, the junior out of Orange County, California, with a bucket.
More of a defensive player than on the offensive end, as we see Bastian with a shove in the back to Bular, but Bastian's done a very good job of running the floor in transition, and he's putting pressure on the New Mexico State defense. Uh-oh.
Slipped right behind him. I'm not sure how a 7-foot 3-inch man slips away, but he did.
He turned his head. Good pass on the inbounds.
Willard, by the way, has got 6 points, 3 rebounds. And a foul sends it back the other way.
Bular is one of those guys that at 7'3", you would think he would dominate every single game, but he plays his best against bigger players. And when you got a guy like Bastian who's 6'8", 6'9", and wide, it helps a guy like Bular because he's not quick. And the one thing that a post guy has got to understand, especially a guy 7'3", is you're an elephant.
Right.
And you can't be a rabbit, and it takes a lot of rabbits to kill an elephant. So take advantage of that size.
And we talked about his brother Sims, 7'6". Had some time in the NBA with the Sacramento Kings last year. Davis in traffic. That was pretty. A triple for Marcel Davis, and he's got 12.
Terrific kick out by Jackson on penetration.
A whistle underneath, penetration back on the other side. And that'll send Matt Taylor to the line.
Darren, the changing defenses have kept New Mexico State a little off balance. They've taken some quick shots in the half court, and at times, with a little bit more patience, they can get Siakam the ball and a better look.
Taylor, that one bounces in, a 50% free throw shooter on the year out of Toronto. 5 a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists a game as well. So these evolving defenses, are they called out as the team comes up the floor? Do they have to switch that quickly as they head back to the basket?
He's been calling them from the bench, and some of them have been pretty much predicated on whether you make a shot or you miss the shot.
Okay.
And as to whether or not you switch. On a make, you may come back and switch your defenses. On a miss, you're just going to come back in the same defense. And right now, it has kept New Mexico State a little off balance.
Challenging for a player to do that defensively as opposed to offensively?
You really got to talk. You got to communicate. You got to get excellent leadership from your point guard position. And Jackson's doing a fine job of it.
Davis a little firm, but he was hit after the ball was released by Matt Taylor. Taylor's first personal. And the 5th team foul.
Davis has been able to get to the rim all night long, and you see help rotation a little bit late in the foul.
Athleticism in the family. His cousin, Chicago Bears linebacker D.J. Williams.
What a terrific young man. He started his career at Utah State. He moved back home because of his family. He's got a younger brother who's autistic, who he helps take care of, and just an outstanding young man. It's going to be a very successful person upon graduation.
Out of American Fork, Utah, American Fork High School, as Coach just said, coming home. The other officials in the building didn't like it, meeting the ones in the seats. Let's see.
The Siakam effect. When he has the ball, all eyes are on him. Taylor takes advantage.
New Mexico State, this road tilt against UVU, certainly a challenge. And they go down to Grand Canyon on Saturday. They'll go to the Phoenix area. And for Coach Marvin Menzies, he knows this is a tough way to start at Grand Canyon, off to an incredible start. 13-2, a team that at this point, the newbie to the conference, not even eligible yet for postseason play, though you think they will, I would imagine, continue to apply to have that change, at least within conference.
Well, they have a shot at possibly an NIT, but Dan Marley has done an outstanding job there. And as you mentioned, this tough road trip to begin the conference season.
Fighting hard for that rebound. Hamilton doesn't have the athleticism of Siakam, doesn't have the size of Bular, but he certainly has had an impact. And as you talked about earlier, when you spend his minutes wisely, he can help your team, even in a new offense.
He's another young man who started somewhere else. He started his career at Boise State. Actually grew up in San Antonio, but was born in Japan. His father was in the military, so he got used to moving around. He's had a nice couple of years here at Utah Valley.
Mom is Bobby, dad is Daryl, psychology major, which means he'll be a great coach someday.
Nah, coaches don't use psychology, do they?
On players, on officials. No, you guys don't. You guys are professional counselors. Look at Hamilton there for the whistle. Bular, the sophomore. 10 rebounds for Bular per 40 minutes of action. Twice this year against New Mexico. Twice he had 9 points and 9 rebounds.
Darren, this is one of the few possessions where they have done an excellent job of swinging the basketball. And you see the end of the possession where, because the defense shifted, everybody's running and help side, and Bular, you have to follow.
Tied at 28. A little bit more than 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Jackson for three. Up, in with the bounce. Marcel Davis almost had a layup in front of him. He gave it up to Jackson, and it worked out.
Why take two when you can have three?
I mean, he was right there, Mr. Davis, but it worked out very nicely. Long three, high bounce. Wim Unkind on the other end. Boy, there is some spring in the step of Ivory Young. Number 13 on that jersey. Jackson a little out of place.
He was going for the heat check.
A very athletic Goodman. This time Davis will shoot it, and a really pretty stroke. He's got 15, Coach.
One of the things that Mark Pope talked about is having his players play hard and play with confidence, and they're doing it tonight.
Davis grabs a rebound. He's got 3 boards. He's got 3 assists. He's got 15 points. Marcel's career high is 28, up and under and in. Hayden Schenk, I should say, out of Eden, Utah. The timeout is called. Look at this run. Mr. Pope looking on from the sidelines and from that big head in the stands. His player's not getting a big head at all, working hard, grinding against New Mexico State. 7-point lead for the home squad. Utah Valley, the Wolverines. Black basketball on American Sports Network continues, and we all know about Pascal Siakam. He certainly is a dangerous player. How about Martez Harrison of UMKC? This is a young man, third year in, 1,300 career points, 17 a game. Those two will go toe-to-toe. Look, it's not an easy walk in the park for that head coach to start things.
Certainly isn't it? You mentioned Martez Harrison, Kareem Richardson doing an outstanding job at UMKC. And when he got Martez Harrison to come back to Kansas City, that helped him rebuild that program.
It's a lot of points, Coach. Firm and off the iron, but a second chance for New Mexico State. We keep an eye on Siakam, 43. Has it in his hands now. Taylor, wide open off to the right. And that one is grabbed by Goodman, the rebound, the sophomore. So Goodman's fun. He's got 48 rebounds coming in this year. 28 of them defensive, 20 of them offensive. So he'll grab rebounds on this end as well. I know you like offensive rebounds.
Love guys who go to the offensive glass.
And a chance to go to the line for Marcel Davis.
Think about this, Darren. Utah Valley is up 7, and Connor Fry hasn't played very much in this first half due to foul trouble, as we see Davis, who has come in and really carried this team in the first half.
Yeah, to your point, he's got 15 points. He's got 4 assists. He's been almost edgy with regard to his aggression, but it's benefited his team. Certainly hasn't been out of control, has been in control. Talked about that 28-point effort he had against Southern Utah earlier this year.
Well, he's done an outstanding job of picking his spots and making sure that he doesn't take bad shots.
And he's got 17 points. Davis, Jackson. Jaden Jackson has 10, the 2 double-digit scores in this game. Siakam.
Terrific job by Taylor. He has a wide open jump shot. He turns it down and throws it where it should go to Siakam.
Siakam's in the double digits now. He has 10 points. Again, we remind you, he averages 24 and 12 rebounds. Love watching that young man play. Dayon Goodman, we talked about who he can be. He's doing some of it tonight. He's a sophomore of Salt Lake City, Kearns High School, where he averaged 20 a game. 2 times he was All-State. Shot clock down to 10. Brown going to grab that rebound. He was disappointed. Schenk called there.
And you're going to see Goodman working inside. Splits the double team. Nice step through to finish with his left. You see on the box out Mark Hope not very happy with the call, as he thought his guy did a terrific job of boxing out. Siakam went over the top, but to no avail.
Larry Spalding, the official involved in that box out there from Pope. Pope actually showing him, look, this is how he boxed him out. That was great right there. Hey, you're confident. You're confident in your officiating and your ability to deal with coaches if you let him physically show you how he boxed him out.
Exactly.
That was great. Siakam drops that one in. 12 points for Pascal, who, by the way, was a great soccer player all throughout his youth. Racing into the corner. That goes for Jackson, off the mark. Siakam's about 5 years into organized basketball.
It's scary how good he can be.
Goalie and a forward. Gives it up to Taylor. The ball's moving all the way around. Siakam now. Say he climbed over the back. Goodman had the position. Second foul.
Fundamentals 101. Make sure you put a body into the offensive rebounder, and Goodman does, draws the foul. See Siakam on the bench. That's the changing defenses. The triangle and two, you're going to give up some open shots. But as long as it's not somebody who you don't want taking it, you're okay with that.
Don't forget to keep it right here. Monica McNutt and Jorge Andres standing by in our ASN, American Sports Network studios. Keeping an eye on the action tonight. Real tough college basketball from around the land. Taking that clock for everything that it is worth. Long three for Baker. Well, there's some time for UVU. See if they can really take some momentum into that locker room. For three, in and out, it rings in and out, and no shot attempt for New Mexico State, but momentum enough. When you talk about what Utah Valley did, 4 of their last 5 from the floor, New Mexico State 2 of their last 10. This is a very, very solid half for the home team. Again, a team that's kind of piecing it together with transfers, some guys that are out waiting to get them healthy against the perennial WAC champions. The second half plus studio here right now. Glad to have you back on campus with us. 39-32, the Utah Valley Wolverines at home on top of New Mexico State. And coaches, we welcome all of our viewers back in as well. You take a look at the numbers, and there certainly have been some miscues, some misses for the Aggies, specifically from long distance.
Well, that's when junk defense becomes solid defense. When the wrong guy takes a three, and you can see New Mexico State has not hit a three-pointer. But more importantly, Darren, Coach Pope talked about competing on the glass against New Mexico State. They own the rebound battle right now, 20-18, which is huge. And when you dissect those numbers, both teams have 6 offensive rebounds. So Utah Valley doing an excellent job on the boards.
Turnovers, as you mentioned, points off of turnovers and the difference that it makes. And we take a look at some of the Marcel Davis highlights. His first half, spectacular, really aggressive with the basketball.
And had a basketball digest type of first half. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. and he scores it in a variety of different ways. He hits the three. He's able to put it on the floor and get to the rim. Very exciting player. They need him to continue scoring in the second half. However, the good news for Mark Pope is Connor Fry, their leading scorer, who sat most of the first half, only played 4 minutes due to foul trouble, is back in the game.
He got a couple of quick fouls. They sat him down, and that's what made the difference. As we begin this second half, Utah Valley up 7. And the man you spoke of, streaking and striking, Connor Fry with a bucket.
Right on cue. Don't settle for a jump shot. Get it yourself back into the game with a drive.
Siakam off the glass a little bit firm. Bastion keeps it alive. The rebound is grabbed by Jaden Jackson. Maybe an extra step or two as he lowered that shoulder. Nothing called. Jackson pops back well off the mark. Marcel Davis was pushing it initially. Swatted away. There's the defense that he's out there for. Bastion.
Bastion with a number of multiple block games as we go end to end.
Avery Young completes it on the other side. Right back the other way with the miss. The look was there for Ian Baker, but he came up empty, so the struggles continue for New Mexico State. Whatever was bouncing the way of the Wolverines has continued to do so here in the second half. Jackson has that one batted away. It's out front, it's Siakam, and he converts that time.
Terrific body control, balance. That was a tough catch for a big guy on the run. Utah Valley is very patient in the half court. When they can run, they do. When they can't, they make you play defense.
Skip pass from inside of the paint, right back to Fry, up high with it, and Fry will go to the line. Connor Fry, the junior, the walk-on from Utah State. What a great story.
I mentioned to Mark Pope before the game that he's the best walk-on since Jeff Hornacek at Iowa State. Mark Pope said, I wish he was as good as Jeff Hornacek, the former Utah Jazz player. But Connor Fry doing an outstanding job. Get into it and using the right arc on it, drawing the foul, chance for a three-point play.
Coach Rich Zabosek, Darren Sutton, glad to have you with us. Shot clock under review. We'll take a look at things. And you talk about Connor Fry, those couple of years at Utah State. Took a 2-year mission.
Well, I was just going to say, as you mentioned
Singapore.
his mission, he's not your normal junior.
No.
He's a little bit older due to his mission in Singapore. And you talk about players who grow up on the floor. You take a 2-year mission, you're going to grow up off the floor, and he's brought that back to this team.
Studying international business and Chinese, so a second language that will benefit him. It certainly did during his mission in Singapore. He's a young man, too, that really held himself very nicely against Louisville in a loss this year earlier, in which Pope went and played his former mentor and head coach Rick Pitino. But in that game, Fry was not to be outdone at 17.6 rebounds at Louisville.
Outstanding effort, plays his best against the best.
Came in averaging 15.7 rebounds, and as coach talked about, sat out a majority of the second half with foul trouble.
Good recognition by New Mexico State. They see Fry on Siakam. Try and force the ball inside to him. Try and get Fry's third foul.
Siakam up to 8. He's got 14 points. He's got 6 rebounds. So he hangs right there just outside of the key. Nadir does not see a ton of playing time. Number 20 in that jersey. Very athletic, very aggressive. He's got the ball in his hands right now. There he goes to the bucket, hard and firm in a bucket. And it's a 10-point lead. And you're averaging just 2 points a game. He will see more and more playing time. Probably got a little bit out of control there. Up and under, are you kidding me? He'll see a lot more playing time.
I like the finishing transition.
Oh my goodness, Sidi Nadir. Young man out of France, played his prep ball here in Orlando in the United States. Originally had signed with Texas A&M. Only playing about 8 minutes a game to this point. But they like it. Fry steps back. A chance with Siakam in his right in his grill.
Too much length.
Well, he worked for that position, but he missed a layup. Wilkins did a great job fighting free. Hard foul on Siakam that time.
Darren, I like the fact that New Mexico State has really pushed the action inside. In that first half, they settled for too many jump shots. Now they're attacking the goal.
Come on, Coach. How about that one?
Very good use of the rim to keep the shot blocker from getting a hand on it.
Speaking of shot blockers, one has come on. Enver Bular, the sophomore of Toronto, 7'3", steps onto the court. Had 8 points, had 4 rebounds in the first half. Shank off the front of the iron. And he'll get another shot lane violation.
Watch Bular, a little bit quick.
Hayden, just a freshman. This was a heck of a high school football player. Well, it is a great effort as he goes into the Gatorade bucket by Connor Fry. Didn't pay off. He ran a good 10 steps off the floor after that try. Baker went hard. Baker's defended. And a whistle underneath. We'll step aside. Good aggressive play in this basketball game, but the bottom line is it's a 9-point lead for Utah Valley University. Let's see what New Mexico State has to answer. I bet they will in a moment. Ali Ahmed of Cal State Bakersfield will get busy in a big challenge on the road. We'll have the action for you on American Sports Network. Brendan Westendorf, leading scorer for Seattle, averaging about 11. Very tough, grabbing rebounds and sharing the basketball underneath. They talk about the athleticism and more playing time for citing Nadir.
Well, you've got so many young guys to choose from, and who's going to be the most consistent is the question. And Nadir, who's only averaging 1.9, has 6 tonight.
Baker, rim right on top of it. Nadir there for the offensive chance. Goes up high. He's playing like a man who's 7 feet in there. And finally, the 7-footer grabs it. It's a volleyball match with Nadir. So many chances, and there's what it turns into.
Love the fact that they push the ball right back inside. Penny, instead of taking the jump shot, he rewards Bular for getting the offensive rebound.
Gosh, why wouldn't you, Coach, right? Back to the other side, the 3 off the mark. That is a big presence in there that needs to be taken advantage of. 15 minutes to go in this one.
The interesting note is, Darren, Siakam's on the bench, and New Mexico State gets bigger.
The follow and a second chance. That's 2 offensive rebounds. That's Jonathan Wilkins with the second try, the sophomore. Air ball off the mark. It's well outside of Ivory Young's range. Shoots 29% from 3. Not afraid to. A couple of years back, Utah Valley actually beat New Mexico State. Things got a little chippy after the game. Frustrating for New Mexico State. He is a special young man. Came in averaging only 2 points. That's only his second 3-point make of the year.
Oh, he's picking the right time.
It's a nice run. Utah Valley, one of their last 6 from the floor. One of their last 6, and it's a 7-0 run. Better stated for New Mexico State, an 11-1 run. They're right back in it.
Coach Pope trying to get Bastion back in the game, get some size in there, but there's been no stoppage in play. I almost feel like if New Mexico State gets a basket here, we might see a timeout.
The young man feeling his oats, why not? Ton of second chances. That's been a big part of the story. Penny with the offensive rebound, the sophomore with the bucket.
After battling with them even in the first half, it has been New Mexico State's size that has taken control of this game.
14 offensive rebounds, 6 for the home team. Second chance points turning into a second half story.
Think about it, we're only 7 minutes into the second half, and they already have 8 offensive rebounds this half. You can tell the adjustment that Coach Marvin Menzies made at halftime. He told his guys, don't settle for jump shots when we have the advantage inside, and they have fought their way back to tie it up.
Have to go a long ways back into the first half when these 2 teams were tied. They're tied again. It's a 13-1 run for the visiting team, New Mexico State. So obviously with all of the championships, the 4-time back-to-back-to-back WAC defending champions in the tournament, which just doesn't happen in conference play. We see the predictions, preseason media poll. Grand Canyon's off to a 13-2 start, so they certainly got that one right.
Well, and then you look at UMKC, had a big win against Mississippi State, their second win against an SEC team in 2 years.
I thought about it. Black basketball on the American Sports Network. Glad to have you with us.
Utah Valley's got to get back into the attack mode, move the ball.
Tried it that time, but the defense was there. Hands straight up for New Mexico State. Fry stuffed. Eli Chua on the floor out of Redlands, California. So another young, talented freshman after the miss. Ular frustrated. Wanted a foul to be called. It's turned over. Davis took it away. Nadir streaking to the bucket.
Nadir is definitely in the attack mode. That's a good call by the official. Davis got all ball.
It's embodying by the talented defender. Andrew Bastian whistled that time. An aggressive offensive approach, and as you said, they have to get back to it. This is a team that led the conference coming in and free throwing and scoring and three-point defense, which they've stepped up on that area certainly. Couldn't get the English off the glass, so he'll dive for that basketball.
Terrific play by Siakam. That's how you know you're going to be a good team. When your best player dives on the floor, everybody else will follow.
Tied at 47 still. Both of these teams trying to find their way out of the timeout. Utah Valley, 2 of their last 9. Scoring drought of almost 4 minutes. Not even close. A three-point miss there. 1 of 16 from long distance. 1 of 16 for New Mexico State. Fry takes a look at a 3, bangs it home. Hunter Fry with the triple. He's got 10.
Nice in and out action. The scissor screen off of the post pass.
Hunter, 1 of 6, has 5 brothers and sisters. Coach saying about Connor Fry, he's got 1 speed when he's out there on the floor as they whistle underneath. They stuck by Fry there, trying to help. Instead, it's a whistle on Bastian. There's the sharing of the basketball. Fry thought for just a moment and then banged it home. He's been a big factor in the second half after sitting a majority of the first. Great atmosphere here on campus. Utah Valley University, the Wolverines on top by 3. Don't forget, by the way, college football continues. It's a great time of year for youngsters to show themselves to the pros, specifically at the FCS level, Division I AA, 2, and Division III. It's the Dream Bowl, an opportunity for NFL teams, Canadian Football League teams, to see some guys at the quote-unquote level below the big time, but they can turn their big-time dreams into the big time. January 18th, Virginia Beach, Virginia, on American Sports Network. Chua to the line, and the first one is good. Eli Richard, freshman out of Redlands, California. 25 points a game, Redlands East High School, his senior year. And Coach Menzies' team is young, isn't it? Just young.
Well, not only is he a freshman, but he's only been playing basketball for 4 years. He didn't start playing until he was a junior in high school. He is going to be an excellent player for New Mexico State.
Coach Menzies talking about players transferring away, seeking more playing time. That's put him in this position. Jaden Jackson puts his team defensively in a position with a bucket. That's put us in a spot where we're just very young. A couple of guys that we thought might be around as older players decided to transfer elsewhere.
And that has become an epidemic in college basketball.
Up and in, very athletic play by Matt Taylor, another young one, a sophomore.
When you talk about a couple of guys transferring out, it is a situation where nobody wants to work their way through it. The Frank Kaminsky's from Wisconsin who played 4 years and developed into great players. Those are few and far between.
The coach says whoever has a uniform, whoever is sticking with us, they get a uniform. That's who I'm sticking with. Didn't have anything to say in a negative light about the young men. He just knows that his men that are here and that are committed will get the opportunity.
And he's looking at those numbers for his sophomore class. They're pretty good. You got a guy like Siakam who is not only talented, he's very unselfish.
Batted away, UVU on the move after the miss. Basketball gone, foul underneath, aggressive penetration, and a whistle on Hayden Schenk. The intent was there, but he just got a little bit out of control. Mark Pope played at Washington for a brief time, Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Then he transferred to Kentucky, part of that 1996 Rick Pitino coached national championship team. Siakam gets back in the game, 16.
And that's the mid-range game that he has developed over the summer. That's a lot of hours in the gym working on your jump shot.
Pro teams love him. Does he stay one more year, Coach?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got pressure from his brothers to graduate as he comes flying through the air. Wow.
Ivory Young has that one blocked. There are NBA representatives in the house tonight. There's an assistant general manager in attendance.
No passing angle for Brown as he tries forcing it into Wilkins.
It worked that time. The aggressive nature cost him a moment ago, but not that time for Hayden Schenk.
Mark Pope was trying to signal timeout. Changing the rule this year, Coach. Only players can call timeout. Live ball.
Here comes Jaden Jackson. He takes a look, and a late whistle and a foul will send Jackson to the line.
Siakam is more than just an offensive player as he comes from help side. Wow. Terrific athleticism, great timing as he swats that one away.
Jaden at the line has 12 points. First trip to the free throw line, and that one rattles in and out for Jaden Jackson. 76% free throw shooter out of West Jordan High School, where he was a state scoring champion his junior year. And as a father of 2 daughters myself, I'll tell you he's got his head on straight because he's got sisters Janessa Genesi and Gentile to keep him straight at home. 3 sisters.
2 of them were pretty good players.
Yes, they were.
One played tennis at San Diego State, and the other one played hoops at BYU.
Great athletic family. Under 9 minutes to go in this one. Over the shoulder. And a late whistle. They might have gotten Marcel Davis. He didn't like the call. That's who they got.
Well, again, Darren, you saw that made free throw. They switched to the triangle and 2, and they're taking away the 2 guards, and they're forcing someone to make a play. And in that case, they were forcing Taylor to make a play and got bailed out by the official's call.
Connor Fry in. Hayden Shank out. Connor comes back in with 10 points. And up by a pair. Long 3. That one rings in, a triple for Ian Baker.
Baker's too good of a shooter not to connect on one. He's averaging almost 3 threes a game, but his first one tonight.
He's been a little quiet here in the second half. Been a little quiet all night. He's got 9 points. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He's got 5 assists. Haven't heard from him much in a while. Now it's turned over, giving New Mexico State another opportunity. Up by 1.
You talk about not hearing from Baker in this half. We didn't hear from him in the first half because he didn't make any shots. He's been a little bit more judicious in his shot selection in the second half. Has done an excellent job of directing the traffic.
Baker, initially a Providence signee, hurt his knee and ended up seeking another opportunity to fit here at New Mexico State, averaging 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists as well. Off goes Siakam to the bucket. Whistle well away from the basket. Just a lump in your throat, I would imagine, when he decides he is going to the bucket. He goes hard, he goes aggressive. Tonight in this one, he's got 16 and 8, and guess what? He's not done. WAC basketball on American Sports Network. The New Mexico State Aggies up by just a single point on top of Utah Valley. Don't forget to join into the conversation across the board on Facebook, facebook.com/live on ASN, and follow along on Twitter as well. So many great partners for the American Sports Network, so many great leagues and so many great sports. It's a wonderful follow on Twitter. So hit us up, join in the conversation. We look forward to talking WAC basketball and college basketball across the board. American Sports Network. So does Siakam take this game over? Let's see if he can grab that one.
I don't think Utah Valley is going to let him. They're going to make somebody else beat him.
When you're 7-3 and you're standing right up under it, it just happens, doesn't it? But you have to get there, and he was. Ular in position. Dan Veer, the sophomore. He's got 12 points. He's got 7 rebounds.
Well, He's always going to have the advantage as long as the rim is at 10 feet.
Fry hammers it home.
What a terrific second half he's having. Two at halftime. He's got 10 second half.
Trailing it by 1. Mexico State hoping to challenge themselves at Wichita State just before the holidays and just before the new year. Weather canceled that game.
Wichita State was undefeated in the Missouri Valley. As we look at Connor Fry, Bular's too late in help side rotation, and Fry wasn't going to take any chances.
Matt Taylor at the line. 50% free throw shooter. He's got 4 points, 2 of 4 from the line in this one. Sophomore out of Toronto, future college prep, where he played his prep basketball. And Deion Goodman is in. Checks in with 4 points, 5 rebounds. And it's a 3-point lead, New Mexico State. The WAC opener for both of these teams, a win at El Paso, win against UTEP. Loss at Baylor. Some of the games to look back on for New Mexico State. They got Taylor with the foul that time. Did they get Siakam?
I believe they got Siakam after the shot, and a little contact as he came down. Got it okay upstairs, and then as he's coming down, he makes contact with the body.
Third foul. Jaden Firm off the back of the iron with a miss that time. Siakam sits at the 7-minute mark. You can imagine this won't be for too long. Eli Chua is on.
There's a decision to be made. If you're Marvin Menzies, you have your best player with 4 fouls. Try and milk the clock here for about 2.5 minutes, maybe get to that 4-minute mark and get him back in the game, depending on how the offense goes from here.
He's got the 4. Bastian has 4 for Utah Valley. That's the trouble. Step back, Siakam's replacement with the miss. Chua comes up short. He's got 2 points, both points from the line. Things about got a piece of one of the officials there. Wheeling and dealing in a bucket for Ian Baker. Baker's got 11 now.
Sometimes it pays to be more lucky than good. The deflection off the official kept the ball from going out of bounds, and Baker able to corral it and finish it.
Larry Spalding, Marcus Pettigrew, Tim Marion, our officials. They've done a nice job in this contest. Over the shoulder, Goodman with the miss and the teardrop through the paint. 4-point lead. UVU better hold tight.
New Mexico State doing a much better job this half of turning down open jump shots. Guys who may have a shot early in the possession are not taking them. They're waiting because they know they'll be there 20 seconds from now.
Another attempt for Siakam's stand-in, Eli Chua, the freshman, and he misses again. Timeout called on the court. Menzies knows he has Siakam.
How about the quick hands and the slow feet of the officials as he plays pinball off of the referee, and he's going to finish with a pass to Baker, and Baker with a nice spin move.
Bouncing the breaks and take us inside of Coach Pope's huddle here.
Right now, he's just telling them, hey, be aggressive at the rim. Don't be afraid of Bular, but keep attacking. As he talked to us before the game, don't let gravity pull you down. Keep forcing the action, keep the pace up. Doesn't mean that you have to shoot quick, but keep them moving. They got to stay in that attack mode in order to shift that defense.
Siakam sits on the bench still. He does so with those 4 fouls, 16 points, 9 rebounds. How good is this young man? The 16 and 9 below averages. The 3 has not been the friend at all, we remind you, of New Mexico State. As Davis steps back. Beautiful stroke there. He's got 19.
They've been relatively quiet in the second half. 17 in the first half. Big bucket there.
Ular with the bucket. He adds to his big night with 14 points. He's well above his career high, which was 9. 5 on top of his career high. Threw an elbow out that time, and he got caught. We noticed it. Ivory Young moved about 3 feet with that quick swing of the elbow, the shoulder.
Darren, you can see as we little contact cannot impede the cutter. A directive to the officiating crew this year.
Motion's everything, isn't it, Coach? You can't get in the way of motion now.
Well, it goes back to Rule 5 in James Naismith's original 13 rules. You can't bump a cutter. Freedom of movement.
Steps back outside of the 3. Off the mark, came up short, and a second chance after the miss by Ivory Young.
It's a shooter's no-no. When you look at your feet to make sure you're outside the 3, you rarely make the shot.
Eyes go off the prize, right?
Exactly.
Slicing, the prize is delivered there by Connor Fry. He's got 14.
That's the attack mode that we talked about. Keep going at the rim.
Connor the junior. 14 is his average. He's reached it. Siakam still watches from the bench. Offensive foul is called. Some movement now for Utah Valley. Down by just a pair. He's not taking the 3 that time. He was so quiet in the first. He's loud now. Something about the Green Man group. They put on an incredible display at halftime. What has turned into be a loud student body house tonight. Is Public Enemy #1 back in the game? Yes, he is. Almost has to be at this point,
well,
right?
You certainly do, because now you're going down on the defensive end. That's a gamble to put him back in, but you can't afford to keep him on the bench and wait for another stoppage in action. So get him in, tell him don't foul, and then let's attack from there.
Let's watch and see, speaking of attack, how much Fry and his mates attack Siakam. Jackson steps back from 3. Fry tries to fight the rebound. The 7-footer grabs it, 7-3 to be exact. Nearly traveled when he had it. 2-point New Mexico State lead.
This is a very disciplined, young New Mexico State team. It's easy to see why they have won this league. They are not taking wild jump shots, but they're moving the basketball against this changing defenses.
Three-point attempt off the mark, tipped in, he just checked in, Siakam with the bucket.
You shine your stars, Darren.
He's got 10 rebounds, he's got 18 points, it's another double-double, Jackson with the miss. For Siakam, that's 21 career double-doubles, 21, he's a sophomore.
And you're going to see now they're going to shift the defense. If they can get 2 ball reversals, they'll get Siakam the ball inside. There it is.
There's some help there for him if he needs it defensively. They reach around, Baker fights his way through. Knocked out of bounds. UVU basketball, the Wolverines have it.
This is why he is so dangerous. He's relentless on the glass. You see he avoids the first block out, and he's able to get to the opposite side of the rim. Terrific play by Siakam.
Rich Zavosic, Darren Sutton, glad to have you with us. Deputy opening night, WAC fans. Right here on the American Sports Network. Foul away from the bucket. And they got Matt Taylor. Into the bonus strides, UVU now.
That's one of those, if you're Coach Pope, you say, oh, don't call that little tiny bump. He was getting a layup.
No roll there off to the left. Marcel Davis with the miss.
And those are the invisible turnovers that you have in the last
love that
3-4 minutes of a game when you go to the free throw line and you miss the front end of a 1-and-1.
Coach, an invisible turnover. Wow! Hammered home. What an athletic play. Siding to Deer.
There's nothing invisible about that move.
Goodness, about 6'1", up and over through the trees. Watch this.
Coach Menzies has been looking for one of his young guys to come of age, and Sidney Nadir has made his presence felt today.
Stood right next to him. He's listed at 6'2". That's a little bit of an exaggeration. That's about 6 feet. That 6-footer with some spring in his steps. Those 11 points, by far a career high. Previous of that, it was 4. He scored 4 against Houston Baptist in his first game in college.
Well, and the bigger issue is now that was the 5th foul on Bastion. So what size that they had inside for Utah Valley is now sitting on the bench for the remaining 2 minutes. But offensively, it could help them. Goodman, a better offensive player, but it certainly will not help them on the defensive end.
Well, that was special to watch. That is a 3-point play to not forget. Sidney Nadir with the hammer jam. What a night he's having. He's got a career high 12. Under 2 minutes now. 7 points. Things a bit in peril. Fry went up hard. Hands were up. With the foul called on Tanvir Bular. Marvin Menzies not too sure about that call. Fry will shoot a pair. UVU also has to deal with Grand Canyon University on the 16th of January, a road contest.
This is why Coach Menzies was not happy with the call. It's a tough call to call it on Bueller. He takes it, but he's just too big that he's not going to fall down. As you see Fry, okay, maybe he turned a little bit, but he took it. And if you're 7'3", that's a long way to the ground. But he gets called for the foul. And the inbounds, we get a foul in the backcourt.
Mark Pope using the phrase smoke and mirrors. He said, I'm going to do everything I can with my defense, smoke and mirrors, and then hope a lot. He is excited for his team to grow and learn this season.
Utah Valley has had an outstanding effort tonight. They haven't helped themselves here the last couple of possessions at the free throw line, but they have shown that they're going to compete with everybody in this conference.
The invisible turnover, Coach, I love that.
That's one of those things that you talk about, guys who are good free throw shooters, as we see Baker make his first one, but how do they shoot them in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game? And
like that.
Baker steps up, makes a pair.
Yeah, that's a great point. So no turnover there. Ian Baker with the pair. He's plotted his way along. And that one's turned over again. It's just a regular turnover, not an invisible one.
Well, with the turnover, you're going to see full court pressure. Nobody's on the ball for Utah Valley. They're going to face guard, play center field, see if they can't steal the inbound pass or get a 5-second count. As we see the officials going over to check the time, make sure nothing went off. Coach Marvin Menzies in his huddle, and what he's telling his guys is something simple. Easy to say, sometimes hard to execute, and that is simply this. If you're the guy taking the ball inbounds, the most important thing at time score situation is take care of the basketball. If you can't make an easy pass inbounds, burn a timeout. Don't take a gamble with a bad pass. If you're a receiver, make sure you run through the pass so that Utah Valley can't jump in and steal. They're taking another look to see who that went off of, and I think it did hit Davis at the end. I think they got that right. I got to tell you, Darren, since I've been on this side of the fence, so to speak, I've seen the officials get it right more often than when I was coaching, that's for sure.
You see the ball get bumped free right there from behind.
It looked like he touched it with that right hand, trying to regather it after Baker poked it.
That's not an easy call, is it?
No, it certainly isn't.
Even with replay.
It would have been very easy for the officials just to give the ball to Utah Valley. You're away from New Mexico State's bench. They're going to make sure they get it right. That's the way it should be.
Larry Spalding, Marcus Pettigrew, and Tim Mary in the officiating crew.
Buard do a good job of foot faking at the dribbler Davis, breaking his concentration, and then Baker able to poke it away.
Obviously, the officials looking at different feeds than what we have here on our production. I don't know. It's a tough one, Coach. They give it to the home team.
It could go either way. And I love how officials now, they cover their mouth when they're talking to each other, as if there are lip readers in the stands or watching the game, perhaps.
See, baseball players do that everywhere in professional baseball. Cover their mouths.
And from this angle, it does look like Davis touches it last.
Yeah, we'll show you all our angles. They want to come take a look at our angle. All right. All right, Marty Tar out in the truck. They're wanting to take a look at some angles here. We'll give them all the angles we have, the officiating crew over here. And here we go, gentlemen.
So they understand that this possession is vital for Utah Valley. If not for New Mexico State, if it's their ball, then it becomes free throw shooting time. I'm not sure, as I watched that angle repeatedly, that I could make the call off of this, although we have a little different angle here. Darren, I know this doesn't go into the official's mind, but a telltale sign is watch Marcel Davis after the ball is poked away. I look at his reaction and the fact that he goes after the ball, he thinks maybe he touched it last.
So the officiating crew visited us. They've seen all the angles they can see from in-house, from our truck. Thank you guys and gals in the truck. Spalding, Pettigrew, and Marion put their heads together, our ASN crew, with some great pictures. All right, Coach. I'm going to say UVU gets it.
Well, the signal on the floor was New Mexico State. So the question is, was there enough evidence on the video replay in slow motion to overrule that call? I don't know if there was. I mean, I'm looking at it just like they are. I could live with it either way, but we're going to find out here momentarily.
They're going to give it to UVU.
It's a big call. Now the question is, can they get a quick shot at the rim, or do they settle for a three-point shot? Let's take a look on his out-of-bounds play.
Well, you better score quickly, though, and you better score. So we'll see if, in fact, the due diligence of our officiating crew makes a difference for UVU. Fry lowers that shoulder, goes hard. Davis can't hold on. He had to look at a three for only a moment. Shot clock at 8. Fry, long three, high arching three. And of course, why wouldn't it be Nadir grabbing the rebound? He got poked hard, looked like right around the eye.
Terrific defense by New Mexico State. You looked at Utah Valley trying to dribble, penetrate, and draw two defenders. It never happened. They kept the ball in front of them. It was one-on-one. They challenged the shot. They grabbed the rebound. Nadir's got a chance to finish it off. Look at this. You're going to watch them probe it. They're going to set the ball screen. Help and recover was fantastic.
Whistle before the free throw attempt by Nadir. So he'll shoot 1+ here.
When you're on the road, it can get difficult sometimes.
And he makes the first. Remember, the first one waved off a whistle and a buzzer just before. Again, that's 13 points, career high in a game 4 for the redshirt freshman. And he hadn't done much. I mean, this is a young man that had scored 2 points a game all year long. Big free throws right at a minute. 10-point lead. New Mexico State looking to put this one to bed. Inside of the three, off the mark. Bular grabs the rebound. He will be mugged, and he will shoot.
A credit New Mexico State. The last 2 defensive stands, they have forced tough challenge shots and limited the team to 1 shot, and then step to the other end, and let's see if it's contagious. We saw Baker make a couple. Nadir stepped up and made 3 to get 2, and now Bular has a chance to ice it.
So Bular with the free throw, he drops that one in. And here's the other part of the story. We have Nadir well beyond his career high. Bular with 15, 6 beyond his career high in a game. So obviously you had the big contribution from Siakam, but he's below his average per game, and you had some guys step up. Unlikely guys.
So Bular is really going to be a threat in this league. And there's one of the bigger threats in this league is Marcel Davis.
Davis has got 22 points as he drained that three. Utah Valley was one of their last 5 from the floor. Davis, those 22 points, lead all scorers, averaging 13 coming in.
Ian Baker started the free throw parade a couple of minutes ago. The young man who grew up in Washington, D.C., went down and played at Arlington Country Day in Jacksonville, Florida. Played for former Boston Celtic and Jacksonville University great Rex Morgan.
Baker with 15. Here's what you like about Baker. Freshman year, 4 points a game. Sophomore year, 9. This year, 16. Miss. Siakam grabs the board. And he'll go to the line. Baker, one of those players, I would imagine coaches love him. You want instant impact, right? He didn't give instant impact. He's just gotten better every year.
Well, and that shows a young man who works on his game in the offseason. You talk about teams. Teams are made October through March, but players are made April through September. And he's put into work, and it's shown on the court.
Siakam looking for points, 19 and 20. He's got 11 rebounds. He's got a pair of assists as well. There's point number 19. So all that means is he's over 800 points in his career, and he's a handful of games into his sophomore year.
Think about that. He's got a chance at 20 and 11. It may be the quietest 20 and 11 that I have seen in a long time.
That's exactly what he has.
And he's done the little things tonight. He dove on the floor earlier. He comes over on help side with a couple of blocked shots.
Goes up high for the rebound attempt. Instead, Jackson with the swing out with the miss. He'll get another chance. Runner, Siakam blocks that one. He's got a pair of big blocks as well. That should do it. Let's see if they will hand out another foul. They will not. A hard-fought road victory for New Mexico State. A couple of years back, they lost in this building. But the defending WAC champs, 4 times over in their conference tournament, come in and open Marvin Menzies and crew with a 1-0 mark. A very good start. A hard-fought battle, 14th straight WAC win for his squad.
Terrific offensive discipline in the second half. They didn't take wide open jump shots early in the shot clock. They moved the basketball. They got it inside. And as you mentioned a moment ago, they got some great effort off the bench from Bular and Nadir. And this team is going to continue to get better. But you talk about the program that Utah Valley is building in Mark Hope. He's playing without 2 projected starters.
Yep.
He's got 3 impact transfers sitting on the bench who will be eligible next year. But the most important thing is his players have bought in. Guys who maybe are walk-ons, a guy like Connor Fry, but they're playing their hearts out, and they are setting the foundation for the future of this program.
There's no better example of what you're talking about than Marcel Davis, who was rewarded with a 22-point effort tonight. As coach said before the game, he is embracing my philosophy the best. They will thank their home crowd as they walk around tonight. For Mark Pope, a hard-fought battle. UVU put up a fight at home, but in the end, the champs are the champs. And they have so much talent. They have so much depth, and they're very, very young. You think about who they are and who they will be. New Mexico State off to a 1-0 start. Rich Savosek, my name is Darren Sutton. WAC basketball on American Sports Network. Glad to have you with us. We'll see you soon next time on campus.